In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make a mansion, and also in the background now, you can see the mansion that we're going to be creating. Although I'm only showing you the exterior, we will be doing the interior as well. Another thing to note is that although we are building it on the Xbox 360 edition of Minecraft, this tutorial will work on any edition, apart from the Pocket Edition, but there are alternative blocks which you can use. To start off this part, we're just going to place one sandstone block, and this is going to be the only material you're going to need throughout the whole of this video. After you've done this, diagonal to the block we just placed, you can just add 2 more blocks diagonal. Next, on the right hand side of the first block we placed in this part, we're just going to count 5 blocks away, and on the 5th block, just placing 1 more sandstone block. After you've done this, we're just going to mirror what we placed on the left hand side, so again placing 2 more blocks out diagonal. And for all of the blocks we just placed, you can go ahead and extend them up so they're all 5 blocks in height. And again, doing this for all the rows. So once you've done this, on the back 2 rows on the top block, we're just going to place 1 block on the inside. And diagonal to the blocks we just placed, you can just add 2 more blocks. So these 2 should join up the back row. For the row in front, we're just going to start in the same place as we did for the previous row, and again placing 1 block on either side. After this, just placing 2 more blocks diagonal on each side. So this again should join up at the top. So that's 1 placed. Now for the second one. For the last 2 rows, we're going to begin by doing exactly the same and placing 1 block in on the top block on the inside. But after this, you can just place 3 blocks diagonal. Now to just place the last 2 blocks across the top. So you can see we've now got the main frame for our doorway. But on top of the front outside 2 rows, we're just going to be extending it up another 3 blocks. So once you've done that, you can just extend a row of sandstone all the way across to connect the 2 sections up. So you should just be left with 2 3-block spaces, which you can just fill in. So that's our doorway done, and also we finished off the most difficult thing for this part. So now just extending the front 2 rows out by 1 more row. So again, you will need to extend this to the same height. So as you may have noticed, everything in this part is going to be placed exactly the same for both sides. So the whole of this layer is going to be completely symmetrical. But after you've placed these 2 rows, behind the far left and far right hand block, which can extend 3 blocks back. And then you can go ahead and extend them all up to the same height as the sandstone next to this. Now to just do this for the right hand side. But after you've done this, we're just going to come back to the left hand side again, where you're just going to want to extend 12 blocks out from the bottom left hand corner. After you've done this, for the far left hand 2 rows, we're going to be extending it up another 7 blocks for both of them. Then doing exactly the same for the far right 2 rows. So again, just extending them up another 7 blocks. But once you've done that across the top row, just placing a row of sandstone all the way across. Down the centre, we're just going to be dividing this space up to create 2 windows. So counting from the edge of our sandstone row on the left, we're just going to count 4 blocks in, and on the 4th and 5th block, we're just going to be placing 2 sandstone rows. Now that we've got our two windows, we just need to add the corner blocks for them. So in the top left and top right hand corner for both of these windows, we're just going to place one more sandstone block. And that's the left hand side done. Now to start on the right hand side. So again, we're going to begin by placing 12 blocks out from the bottom right hand corner. And again for the far left hand 2 rows and far right hand 2 rows, just extending it up another 7 blocks. But for this section I will be speeding it up, as again all we're doing is repeating what we've done on the opposite side. So that's the 2 on the right done. Now for the 2 on the left. So once you've done this, across the top row, just placing a row all the way across to connect up the 2 rows we extended up. And same as we did for the opposite side, we're just going to be adding 2 rows for the 4th and 5th block in. The last thing for this section is we just need to place our sandstone block in the top left and top right hand corner for both the windows. So I expect you've noticed that we're flying from each side after we've done a particular section, and this is because we're less likely to make a mistake by doing this. Now that we've done the 2 sections next to our door, we can come back over to the left hand side, and from the bottom left hand corner, we're just going to place 4 blocks out. And for all of these, you can just go ahead and extend them up. So once you've done that, you can just come over to the right hand side and do exactly the same by placing 4 blocks out from the bottom corner. And also remembering to extend them all up. The next thing we're going to be doing is from the bottom right hand corner this time of the section we extended out. And here we're just going to be placing 6 blocks out. Then for the far left block we extended out, you can just extend it up an additional 7 more blocks. After this, just placing a row across the top. The last thing for this window is to just add your sandstone block in the top left and top right hand corner. Then you can come back over to the right hand side, whereby, as we mentioned before, everything we're doing in this video is going to be repeated for both sides. So again, extending it out 6 blocks. And on the far right hand row, you can just extend it up so it finishes the same height as the sandstone on the left hand side. But once you've done that, just adding a row across the top. Then just placing your 2 corner blocks to finish off. So you can start to get an idea now of how large this mansion's going to be. But the last thing we're going to be doing for this part is we're just going to be placing 2 more windows, and these 2 are going to be exactly the same as the sections next to our doorway. So again, starting from the left hand side, we're just going to begin by placing 3 blocks back from the bottom left hand corner. Then just extending them all up. But also, just a quick note, although this is the last thing we're doing for this part, this isn't going to be the full width for the mansion, so I would suggest leaving some extra space down the sides if you are planning to build anything else next to it. Then just going over to the right hand side of the mansion and doing exactly the same by placing 3 more rows behind the bottom right hand corner. So once you've done that, we're just going to come to the bottom left hand corner, whereby you just want to build 12 blocks out. For the far left and far right 2 rows, you can just begin by extending them up 7 blocks. So that's the 2 done on the left. Now for the 2 on the right. Next, you can just extend a row of sandstone all the way across the top row. As we did for the windows next to our doorway, you can just go ahead and on the 4th and 5th block, just place 2 sandstone rows, and remembering to extend them up as high as they'll go. So to finish off this side, we just need to add our corner blocks after we sleep. So again for this, just placing it in the top left and top right hand corners for both the windows. So now that we've done the left hand side, you can just fly over to the right hand side where we're going to be doing exactly the same. So coming to the bottom right hand corner, you can just extend 12 blocks out. And for the outside 2 rows for both sides, we can just extend them up. So that's the 2 rows added on the right. Now to just place the 2 rows on the left. And across the top, just placing your row across. After you've done this, on the 4th and 5th block again, you can just place 2 more rows. So all you need to do now is to add your corner blocks in the top 2 corners. So there you go, that's the first part done. In the next part, we'll be carrying on with the front of the building.